The imminence of Armageddon is a long adhered doctrine that has significantly influenced the lives of Jehovah's Witnesses. And one such influence is the encouragement to avoid having children in this system. And this doctrine, rooted in the belief that the current world is on the brink of destruction and that the new righteous world under God's kingdom is imminent, has had profound and often devastating effects on the lives of many adherents. As members grow older, many have found themselves childless, past the age of childbearing, and grappling with the emotional and psychological consequences of this teaching. The doctrine that encourages Jehovah's Witnesses to forego having children in this system is deeply rooted in the organization's teachings. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses has consistently taught that the end of the world, or Armageddon, is imminent. Since its founding in the late 19th century by Charles Taze Russell, the organization has predicted various dates for the end, and most notably 1914, 1925, and 1975. Although these dates have come and gone without the anticipated cataclysm, the belief in the imminence of Armageddon has remained a central tenet of the faith. And in light of this belief, the organization has often discouraged its members from engaging in activities that would tie them too closely to the system or the current world, which is viewed as corrupt and doomed to destruction. This includes pursuing higher education, investing in long-term careers, and notably having children. The reasoning behind this is that raising children in a world that is soon to be destroyed would be an exercise in futility, distracting members from their primary task of preaching and preparing for the new world to come. This doctrine has been reinforced through various Watchtower publications, talks, and assemblies over the decades. For instance, in the 1930s and 1940s, during the height of the Second World War, Watchtower literature strongly discouraged having children as the world seemed to be on the brink of collapse. And similar messages were propagated leading up to 1975, another date that was heavily emphasized as a potential time for Armageddon. Even though the organization never explicitly banned having children, the consistent messaging created a strong cultural norm within the community that having children was unwise, if not irresponsible, given the critical times in which they believed they were living. The Awake of 1974 states this: "Today there is a great crowd of people who are confident that a destruction of even greater magnitude is now imminent. The evidence is that Jesus' prophecy will shortly have a major fulfillment upon this entire system of things. This has been a major factor in influencing many couples to decide not to have children at this time. They have chosen to remain childless so that they would be less encumbered to carry out the instructions of Jesus Christ to preach the good news of God's kingdom earthwide before the end of the system comes." And as recently as the Watchtower 2020 states that many brothers and sisters have chosen to remain single. Married couples have postponed having children. Families have kept their lives simple. All have made these decisions for one important reason. They want to serve Jehovah as fully as possible. They are content and trust that Jehovah will provide all the things they truly need. Will they be disappointed? No. Now, the impact of this doctrine on the lives of Jehovah's Witnesses has been profound. Many members, motivated by the deep desire to obey what they believe to be God's will as communicated through the organization's teachings, chose not to have children. And this decision, often made in the prime of their lives, was seen as a sacrifice for the greater good of advancing God's kingdom and ensuring their own survival through Armageddon. However, as the years and decades passed without the anticipated end of the world, the consequences of this decision became increasingly apparent.
True Christians cherish the truth that this wicked world will soon end. But what are the pitfalls of serving Jehovah with a date in mind? In the following dramatization, let's see how a Christian couple is lovingly helped to adjust their mindset.
I've got some news. How do you feel about moving to the South Congregation?
Why the South Congregation? We're not even in their territory.
It's twice as far. And it feels like the wrong time with everything happening in the congregation. But they need help. So Brother Maseko just asked if we'd be willing.
I'm tired.
Well, we can talk about it tomorrow when you...
No. I mean, I'm tired of everything. Starting over, making changes, this whole system. We've always been happy to do what Jehovah's asked. But I never thought this system would drag on for so long.
I don't think either of us ever imagined we'd be where we are now.
I know we've made the right decisions. But with our money so tight, and then tonight, holding Tulani, it's just strange to think that if things had been different, we'd probably have a family now.
Now, for many, the most immediate impact was the loss of opportunity to experience parenthood. The decision not to have children, made in the context of a belief in the imminence of Armageddon, often led to a deep sense of loss and regret as members grew older and past the age of childbearing. This is particularly true for women who, due to the biological factors, face a more limited window of opportunity for having children. The realization that they would never have children, something they might have desired deeply, but had sacrificed in the belief that they were doing the right thing, has led to profound feelings of grief, regret, and even anger. I know quite a few women in my old congregation who expressed these sentiments of not getting married or not having children in this system.
I understand. I never dreamt that I'll be this age in this system. And now look at these wrinkles.
I don't see any wrinkles.
You haven't slowed down a bit.
I have my hard days. But I've learned a long time ago that focusing on when the end will come, it's just not good. That's what happened to Dorothy, you know. We started pioneering right after we got married. We were excited. We thought the end was really close. But things just kept going. Years went by. And Dorothy changed. She was angry that Armageddon hadn't come. She started doubting it ever would. In the end, she left Jehovah. And me.
That had to be devastating.
It was the hardest time of my life. It's true that 2 Peter 3 verse 12 tells us to await and keep close in mind the presence of the day of Jehovah. But we have to be careful not to wait in frustration. I remember how in Jesus' day, many of his disciples stopped following him because his words didn't meet their expectations. But what did Peter say?
Lord, whom shall we go away to?
For you have sayings of everlasting life. The truth is the truth, even if it doesn't unfold how or when you expect it.
In addition to the emotional toll, the decision not to have children has had significant social and practical consequences for many members. In many cultures, having children is a central part of family life. and social identity. Childless individuals, particularly in communities where large families are the norm, often face social isolation and stigma. And for Jehovah's Witnesses who choose not to have children, this isolation can be compounded by the fact that they often lack the support networks that come with parenthood, such as relationships with their children's peers and other parents. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and disconnectedness, particularly as they grow older. Moreover, the lack of children has practical implications for aging Jehovah's Witnesses. In many cultures, children are expected to care for their parents in old age, providing physical, emotional, and financial support. And for childless members of the Jehovah's Witnesses, the absence of this support system can lead to significant challenges as they age. Many find themselves facing old age without the safety net that children can provide, leading to concerns about who will care for them as they become less able to care for themselves. And as the decades have passed and the anticipated end of the system has not materialized, many Jehovah's Witnesses who chose not to have children have found themselves growing old in a world they believed would no longer exist. The realization that they have sacrificed the opportunity to have children based on a belief that has not been fulfilled has been devastating for many. The emotional impact of this realization cannot be overstated. Many members who are now in their late 60s, 70s, and 80s have found themselves grappling with deep feelings of regret and sorrow. The joy and fulfillment that often comes with raising children and having grandchildren have been denied to them. This can lead to a profound sense of loss and a questioning of the choices they made in their younger years. For some, the belief that they were doing God's will has provided some comfort, but for others, the sense of missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential has led to a crisis of faith and identity. Furthermore, the close-knit community of Jehovah's Witnesses, which is often touted as a source of support and encouragement, may not always be able to provide the same level of care and companionship that a family would. This can lead to feelings of abandonment and despair, particularly those who have devoted their entire lives to the organization. And many elderly Jehovah's Witnesses face financial insecurity, particularly if they have not pursued higher education or long-term careers due to the organization's discouragement of such pursuits. And without children to assist them, they may struggle to meet the financial and physical demands of aging. This can lead to a reliance on the broader community or on public assistance, which can be a source of shame and distress for those who have prided themselves on their independence and self-sufficiency. The discouragement of not having children in the system has had broader implications beyond the lives of individual members. It has shaped the culture and demographics of the Jehovah's Witnesses as a whole. The emphasis on not having children, combined with the discouragement of higher education and career advancement, has led to a community that is often aging and financially insecure. And this has created challenges for the organization as it struggles with a decline in financial contributions while also trying to maintain its focus on evangelism and growth. Moreover, the doctrine has contributed to a sense of disillusionment and frustration among some members, particularly those who have been in the organization for many years. The repeated emphasis on the approaching Armageddon, combined with the lack of fulfillment of these predictions, has led some to question the organization's teachings and leadership. And this has led to members leaving the organization or becoming less active in its activity. While the intention behind the doctrine was to encourage members to focus on their spiritual goals and prepare for the imminent end of the world, the reality has been that many have sacrificed the opportunity to have children only to find themselves growing old in a world that has not ended. The emotional, social, and practical consequences of this decision have left many feeling isolated, regretful, and disillusioned. And as the Jehovah's Witnesses continue to navigate the challenges of an aging membership and a world that has not ended as predicted, it is important to reflect on the impact of this doctrine and how many more lives will be devastated due to a teaching that has been unsubstantiated for more than 100 years.